Hello, good morning friends. Welcome back to your favorite channel Code One Digest. Today in this tutorial I am going to cover generics. What is generics in TypeScript? How generic works in TypeScript? How can we use generics in TypeScript? If you have worked in Java, you would be aware of this concept of generics, right? What is generics? How do we use it? Similar way, we use generics in TypeScript as well. So stay tuned and watch this tutorial till end. I'm going to explain the generics. I'm going to show you various examples of generics. If you want to learn generics from the scratch, what is generics? How can we use it? How can we use it in TypeScript? Then watch this tutorial till end. Okay, it is going to be very informative and very exciting video today. Okay, friends. Friends, in the previous tutorial, I covered classes in TypeScript. How do we define classes in TypeScript? How to use classes in TypeScript? How can we create an instance of TypeScript, right? How inheritance works in TypeScript, and how can we define abstract class in TypeScript, and all the concepts of classes that we see in object-oriented language. So go and watch the previous tutorial if you want to learn classes in TypeScript. So go and watch the previous tutorial. The link is given on your screen. And friends, I have also created a complete playlist on TypeScript where I have created multiple tutorials lesson by lesson. The complete playlist is there. The link is given on your screen and also given in the description section of this tutorial. Okay friends, so here is the agenda of this tutorial. I am going to cover generics in this tutorial, and then we'll see how can we use generics in function, how can we use generic in classes, how can we use generic in alias, how can we define a default value of generics, how can we limit the generics to a specific types using extends. Okay friends, so watch this tutorial till end. It is going to be very exciting and informative tutorial. Okay friends, so I have opened my Visual Studio Code and I have created lesson 7 generic directory where I have all the files related to generics, right? So let me open this generic.ts and we'll go example by example. So what is generic? If you have worked on Java, you would know what is generic. How do we use it? Okay. So generic allow creating type variable which can be used to create classes, functions, and type alias that don't need to explicitly define the type that they use. Basically, we define a skeleton. Then we can use that skeleton for any data type, be it string, numeric, boolean. And later we can replace the generic type with any specific data type. Let's see here with an example. So how we use generic in function. So I have created a function, let's say create pair, and the syntax of defining generic is this angle bracket. Okay, so we define the function name and then followed by angle bracket. In that angle bracket we define the generic type, and now we are defining variable 1 of type s and variable 2 of type t. This s and t could be any data type, and now we are defining a return type in form of pair like this for this function, which is returning a pair of v1 and v2. Okay, so this is simple function that we have defined. Now let's see example, the use case of this generic. I'm calling this function in my console.log. Okay, when I'm calling that time I'm defining, okay, my first argument is a string and second argument is number in generic. And then I'm passing the corresponding value as an argument in the function. As I said, string, that means here as become a string. As is a string, that means v1 become a string, and v1 would expect a string argument. That means first argument must be a string. Then we are saying second argument should be of number. T become number. Now v2 become t. That means v2 become number. Hence we have to pass number as a second argument, right? Likewise, I have defined here number and a string. Therefore, I have to pass number as a first argument and a string as a second argument. And then third is number and boolean. I'm passing number and boolean. So this is the beauty of generics. We need not to define 3 or 4 different methods with all this combination of a string number, number string, number boolean. With the help of generics, we can use the same skeleton to call that function and get the output done. Right? Right, friends? Clear? Friends, Before we proceed in this video, I request you to subscribe this channel to grow Code One Digest family. Friends, I'm creating a lot of quality videos on programming, coding concepts, design pattern and design principles, cloud and container technologies, but I'm not getting subscribers. I request you to like, share and subscribe this channel so that I can grow our Code One Digest family. Thank you. Okay friends, now let's see another example. How can we use generics in a class? Generic can be used to create generalized class. Okay, let's see and understand that with example. So I'm defining here a class name value and saying generic T. Okay, this is generic T. And here I'm defining a private variable value of type T. That means this value variable is a generic variable. It can be a string, it can be number, it can be boolean, right? Generic T I'm using for this value variable, right? I have defined a constructor. In the constructor, I'm defining a property argument, property fields, private key, string. That means I'm having a key as a string. I'm having a method set value to set the value of this generic variable. The value is v and it's of type T. It is of type generic type, right? And then we are assigning this dot value. Okay, we are saying this dot value is equals to v. That means we are taking that v into value, right? Now we are also having another method get value. So get value will return the value of type T and we are returning this dot value. I have another function get key to return this dot key. Now we have to see how do we call this generic class? How do we use this generic class? So here I'm creating a constant nv new name value and I'm saying the generic is string. I replace the generic t with string. That means this value variable will be of type string. Okay. And when I define that here is a string and passing name in a constructor. So I'm calling the constructor and passing the name as a string because constructor expects a string. I'm passing name as a string. That means this key having a value name. Okay. Now this key is become name and I'm setting the value nv.setValue pavan. So this pavan will go into this value variable. So key become name and value is having pavan as a value, right? Now what I'm doing is I'm printing it here console.log nv.key and nv.value. So what it is gonna print here is it will print name is equals to pavan like this. Got it? Because key is having name, the value is having this pavan. This t is replaced by string, that means the value become a string. If I try to assign here nv.setValue, let's say number, it will not let me do that. Why? Because we have set our generic type is a string. Hence, we cannot set number into a string. Argument of type number is not assignable to parameter of type string, right? Hence, this operation is not possible. Now, same thing, same example we'll try with number. I'm creating another variable nv2 new name value. Now generic type is number and my constructor key is age. So key become age and nv.setValue is 40. Now here I cannot pass nv2.setValue as a string. Will not take as a string because here we said my generic is number. And again I'm printing here the key and value. The key will become age is equals to 40. This will be the output of this print. Okay friends, now let's see another example, type alias. How can we use generic with alias? Alias we have seen in our previous exercises, right? So generic is a type alias allow creating type that are more reusable. So let's see that with example. Here I am defining type wrapped and it is of type generic and its value is t. So if I say string, then value will take a string, value will be of type string. If I say number, then value will be of number. If I say t boolean, then value will be of boolean. Now let's create a variable of this wrapped. So wrapped variable, wrapped number is equals to value 10. That means the wrapped value is having 10. If I print here wrapped value dot value, it will print 10 here. Right? Now I am defining another wrapped value 2, this time with a string as my generic. Now initializing the value with a string value, right? So when I'm printing it, wv2 dot value, it will print that string value, right? Clear? I hope the concept of generic is now getting clear to you. So we define a skeleton. We can use this skeleton with various different data types. Okay, friends, now let's see another example where the generic can have a default value. Generic can be assigned default value which applies if no other value is specified or inferred. So let us see that with example. Again, I'm defining a class myMap and it is taking a generic t, but this time I'm saying t is equal to string. That means I'm defining a default generic type is string. If I don't give generic type while creating an instance of myMap, it will take a string by default. We'll see that in example. So I'm creating a class myMap with generic t with the default type string and having a private property value of generic type t. I'm having a constructor where I'm defining another property key as a string and having a method set value and having another method to get value. I'm having another method get key method to get the keys. Now let's see that how are we creating instance of this class. I'm creating an instance m is equals to new mymap. So m is the instance of mymap class where I'm defining generic type is number and passing the key as a age. Okay, and m dot set value 20 and here I'm printing m dot get key, m dot get value. What it will print here? It will say keys age is equals to 20. Now let's see another example where we are not defining, we are not giving the generics. Here we gave number, but here we are not giving any generic. So what it will do? It will automatically will take a string, right? If you see here, m2 is equals to new mymap and key is age, generic become a string, and I'm trying to set value as numeric and it is not letting me do that, right? It will say that number is not assignable to parameter of type string, right? So we cannot do that. Now we have to set some string value only. That is why m2.set value is accepting 20 as a string, right? And then here I am printing it, the key and value. The key is age is equals to 20, right, friends? That's how the generic works. Now let's see another example where we can define the possible data types for the generic type. We use extend as a keyword. Constant can be added to a generic to limit what is allowed, okay, in the generic. So the constant make it possible to rely on more specific type when using a generic type. With the help of keyword extend, we can define, okay, this can be string or numeric. Okay, let's see that with example. Function create my pair, okay, in the angle bracket, we have as extends string and number. That means this generic as can be number or string. Generic T extends string and boolean. That means generic T can be string or boolean. And then the function argument, V1 is of type S, V2 is of type T generic. And this function is returning a pair S and T. Now let's see that with some example. The very first example at line number 94, I'm calling create my pair where I'm saying string and number. See, it is not allowing, it is giving error here, compilation error. Why? Because I'm saying as is a string and T is a number. But T can be string or boolean but cannot be number. Hence, it is not letting me define like this. This will not work. Okay? So it will not accept number as second argument, right? Because second argument of our generic type T can is accepting only string or boolean. Hence, this is not working. Now I'm defining a string or a string. Both are possible because S can be a string, T can be a string. Hence I'm passing the respective value. So it will print name Pawan, right? Now in the second example, I'm defining number and a string. Okay, so S is number and T is a string and the values are 50 runs. Okay, so this will print big bracket 50 comma runs. Now we have a last example where I'm defining S generic type is a string and T generic type is boolean and I'm passing the values my boolean true. So it will print my boolean true, right? Right, friends? So now what I'll do is we'll compile and run this code and see the output. Okay, friends? Okay, friends. So now I'm now in a console. I'm into lesson 7 directory. Let me compile the code first. tsc generic.ts. Yes, let's compile. Now I'll run this node generics.js. Yes, so it is printing the output. You can validate with those console.logs. Right, friends? I hope the generics are clear. How generic works in TypeScript is clear to you now. Okay, friends? So you need not to worry about the code. The code is available. All these examples, lessons are available in my GitHub repository. And the GitHub repository is Code One Digest. And the project name is TypeScript Complete Tutorial. So I have all the lessons here. Lesson 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right? So all these lessons are here. You can download this code and play with it. Okay, friends. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, so do subscribe to my channel to grow Code One Digest family. Thank you. Friends, if you like this video, so give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel for the more interesting videos. Click on the bell icon for the latest video notifications and do not forget to share this video with all your friends and colleagues. This is very useful information for students, beginners, and software engineers. I am putting a lot of efforts in creating these contents. So please help me growing the Code One Digest family. Please subscribe to Code One Digest channel for the latest programming and technology related videos. Thank you.